do the peer review. I mean, do the peer review, do the ones that you choose to do. Like that's beneficial because like that it gives you so much more options and power over your own stuff. You know, like you already know what's expected of you.
Right, right, right.
So I like that. Okay. Well, I like what you're doing. I'm trying to get involved. I really am. I swear I am. Because been on that Mighty Networks thing for a second now, and I was just like, I'm not sure what to do next because there's so much information. It's all piled in there, and I know how Alesco members feel because you know, how you always see them get in there and like, I don't know. And well, I now feel that way, but on the other one, on yours. So I get it now. But okay, so I want to start from the beginning about grants. Today in general because I want to again go over the sourcing of grants and understanding how we find the funds we find and why we're going after the ones we go after. I had a question asked of me in another group that was a good question actually because they're like, well, why do you choose to you know apply the way you do? And I apply in little clumps, and it's because one, the odds are better. Two, I have actual rhythm to the grant calendar and then plus where my organization is at that moment. So there's a whole bunch of things that go into that, and I want to kind of show you guys, give you guys a guide of how to make that, implement that for your own organization, and how to make that so that you understand why we're doing the things we're doing and why it's just like grants are just a foot in the door. You know, if you get a grant from somebody, that is a relationship. And really, nonprofit work and for-profit work is all about building relationships with your customers, building relationships with other people, building your relationships with other businesses, with other organizations, with you know, your community. And you are trying to get, if you're in a for-profit business, you're trying to sell something to them, or you're trying to get them to join you doing something in a bigger purpose. Same for nonprofit. We're trying to help somebody or help a certain people. And we are trying to get them to come to our organization to see the good we're doing and then help us expand that, right? So we're all trying to get something from our communities of expansion and spreading what we're doing. The best way to do that is grants because you get the publicity from grants and stuff like that. So yes, sponsorships will work as well, but grants, there's a lot of feedback from them, except for foundational grants. Some of them are very hush hush and will ask you actually not to post on social media about them, but mostly like the for-profit business ones and things that they're looking for that attention. They want you they want to say, look, guys, we did good. We did that, you know? So they're gonna put you out there and put your business out there and you put your nonprofit out there. The best also other way to go about doing such a thing and getting kind of getting the inside track on some of these grants and some of these sponsorships and these relationships is getting on the peer reviews of the Department of Justice. I know we've discussed it very briefly before, but Department of Education, Department of Justice, Department of Women Against or Women in Violence, the victim witness, all of these state and federal programs have, or I guess they would be called the offices, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. They're the Department of Education, the .gov ones, right? They all have these peer review opportunities. And right now, I don't know what happened. I don't know if they fired everybody, started from scratch, but every single one of them is open for peer review recommendations and or resumes. And you do not have to be anything. They're looking for people who have just seeking subject matter experts for peer review. This is Department of Justice, and you actually get to evaluate other people's grant applications, and then they give you a criteria, and then you follow that. You just check yes or no. They actually pay you for this. You do it from home. It's very easy to apply. I've applied for like most of the Department of Justice ones, and I just did this the other day, so I haven't heard anything back yet. But there is money in this one too. It gives you such an insight on how the back end of these grants work for if you're applying for any federal grants in the upcoming year. I would suggest greatly doing this because it is a, oh wow, what's that? Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, I need to stop looking at that. I will go down a whole rabbit hole right now, live on TV. Okay. But there's a whole relationship building portion of that's what I really wanted to discuss today is it's not just a peer review. You're one, learning about other organizations that are going after the same things that you might be going after. 2, that's partnerships. If you could actually end your peer review assignments, once that is over, and once those grants have been funded, you can then contact those people that you saw that sparked your interest and try and partner with them. 3, you have all of the other peers that you're reviewing with and you know, you're interacting with almost on a weekly basis. You have those relationships to cultivate. And do you think that when you apply to something those reviewers that have been there for years, do you think that they're going to see your name and just look over it? No, it's helpful. It is helpful to have been on a peer review, and also then once the conflict of interest has subsided, you go and you apply for something in that area. They're going to see your name. They're not going to just be like, oh, nope. Especially if you have a good relationship with these people. So I'm telling you, it's a strategy, but it's also something that's beneficial educational wise, and just all around in general. It's beneficial to your organization. It's beneficial for you to learn about other organizations, how grants are written federally, and all of that. So please be aware that is one of the things I would choose to do. And also I would just enjoy doing it. It'd be fun. But let me show you what one of the things look like actually. Has anybody been on a peer review before? Oh, too far. I can't see hands anyways. Just unmute if you have, because I can't see you guys anymore.
I haven't.
Okay. So cool. So this is for the Department of Justice, but like there's just a lot of good options in here. Okay, I want to dive into that now. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. And stay on task. But there's just a lot of just benefits in general. It's a good thing. If you guys can do one of these and get on one of these committees or get on one of these review boards, do that. It won't be wasted time or energy, because it will give you an insight to what they're looking for, how they're looking for it. It's $125 for each application you review, and five applications within a 2-week period. That's really not that many. It's their federal grants. It is going to be that many, actually. That's kind of a lot for 2 weeks. That's a lot, actually, because there's like 60-page grants. Anyways, it's fun. I would suggest doing that. If you are planning on applying for anything federally, please, 5 to 15 applications, you say. Oh, there you go. That's still not bad for money wise. Okay, so there's just a whole bunch of different things here. Go. I suggest, I'm gonna put this in the chat. Everybody can go on here. Get on review boards, guys, and get on committees if you can, because that's what we want. That will give us our relationships that we need in the future. Plan. Okay, so we are going to go pretty much. Does anybody have any questions about this before I move on? I just want to make sure we all realize that our relationship building can start here too. I can't see anybody. Hold on, let me stop the share. Okay. Thanks, Sarah. With your thumbs up. Okay. So when we start looking for grants, we are looking for we're looking for the way to get the funding to our organizations as quickly as possible. We're looking to get our organizations on top of their own business, but also to get out into the community and just kind of go see what we need to get funded for, right? Like for community organizations, yes, that's true. For like specific organizations like Birth Mom Buddies, I'm looking for anything mental health, stuff like that. So I have a kind of niched request when I'm looking for grants. I don't source grants the way I would suggest everybody else sources grants. I mean, I do, but you know what I'm saying. So like every time you're looking for grants and you like, there's no grants out there and nobody has any funding, that's never the case. Everybody has grants. Everybody has funding. You need to know how to ask for it and know how to get it from them, because it's there. And I want you guys to think about, on your way to work every single day, what stores are you passing? Where are you going? What are you seeing to your right? What are you seeing to your left? If you're passing any type of Walgreens, CVS, Pilot, Love's has a great grant program. don't overlook the gas stations. Loves is a good organization in general. Their foundation is very, very good. You want to make sure that you're touching base with every single one of those people that are actually have a business in the community that you already serve, as well as looking at their foundational goals and objectives so that you can align yourself with that. You're looking at your city strategic plan, you're looking at your community's plans, any of the organizations in your community that are larger than you want to see what their plans are for the year. Align yourself to be funded. Don't change what you're doing, and don't change what you're doing to suit any one particular grant, but you want to align yourself so that you're speaking to those people when you're talking in your grant applications. Does everybody have any questions about that part? Because I'm going to start showing you how you can look for grants real fast. Barbara, what are you seeing on your way to work every morning? Or I don't know if you work from home. If you work from home, then never mind. But what are you seeing when you leave your house?
I work from home a lot, yes, but there's Meyer.
Yeah, that's Kroger, no?
Yeah, that.
Yeah. But banks.
There's a few banks. Yeah. A credit union.
Which one?
Okay. Huntington, Citizens.
Savings.
Those are the what? The what here?
What is it?
There's Huntington and there's Citizens, but no real major banks here.
Well, that's good. Actually, that would actually prove my point. Is this it right here? Oh, you guys can't see my screen. JK. Here, hold on. Is this the one you're talking about right here? The Huntington Bank?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
just making sure. I keep doing that. Goodness. All right.
They're new, but they're here.
Okay. All right. So just oh my gosh, I even spelled them wrong and I still ended up with the right stuff. So it's just simply that easy. Like literally picture the things that you pass on the way to work. You will find grants. There's grants literally everywhere. If you have a for-profit business, it's a little bit more of a squeeze. However, that does not mean that you cannot partner with a nonprofit and get whatever you need. We build partnerships, and that's the whole point of this class, our community that we have, and everything else that we're doing in general. We want to build partnerships so that we move together stronger. We look a lot better on any grant application when someone's saying, hey, are we going to trust this one organization, or are we going to trust this 7 or this 5 pack of organizations? That's accountability. Funders will see that we are then more accountable, because if we screw up, one of us screws up, the other one's going to either pull us up or they're going to let us go and then take care of whatever needs to get taken care of. So like that's how funders are looking at it. They want to make sure that their return is outcomes. They need to go to their funders with better outcomes than they had the year prior. So if we're looking stronger and like we're going to affect more people, more of the community, and do what our mission and plan was, our mission, vision, purpose, we are going to enhance the likability of our grant application as a whole. So finding partnerships and relationships is key for profits and nonprofits. And you can use nonprofits and for-profits as line items in your grant application, or you can contract with them after the grant funding has already come. So there's different ways to go about doing that and adding people to your grant application. And 1 month you guys can have one person lead. The next month have the sub-grantees of the previous month be the leader of the next round, and kind of just so on. Every month though, you should be funded that way. If you have 5 partners, for those of you who are new, the 1-3-5 is what we teach and what I believe in. It's we were at 100%. We just lost one just recently, but we're like at 98 something or 97 something percent. So, but the 1-3-5 is the way I teach grants. It's what I believe in. It does work. It's like, it never fails really. I believe the last time it did fail was because of me. So, but it's stronger in you're stronger as a group, and people will see that. And you can, that's how for-profit businesses get involved with the nonprofits. That's how relationships are built. That's how people get funding year round, following the grant calendar and following that order of being able to move together. And in for-profit businesses can take lead on those. It's a little bit more of a different technique, but I can show you guys that in a future class. But it is, if you have a for-profit business and you want to know how to do that, let me know and we'll go over that, because it is very, very solid in that sense. So give me 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can move on to this. Okay. Why wouldn't it let me change the thing? There you go. Move back, go share. So did you guys see how I literally found the two things that you mentioned, Barbara, were like the Kroger and the corporate giving, right?
Right here in my neighborhood.
Right, and it's right here. So that's what I'm saying. So you, would you just please go away? Okay, all right. So that is that simply how easy that is. So it goes 1, 2, right? So there, and this is our giving guidelines. So Barbara, I'm telling you, if you ever need volunteers, you need to get to your banks, because you have, every time I've looked up anything for you, it's always so, you have good stuff around you.
I do.
But get
why,
volunteers for your dang banks, man, and send some my way.
that's why I don't want to move.
Facts. I hear you. All right, so dang, man. Zay, you still on the call?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay. Do you see this right here?
Yeah, I saw
Do
it.
you see this right
Confirmed.
here?
Yeah.
Just checking. Okay. Okay, so this is the issue right here, though, like with that's funding restrictions, but that's a lot of times you'll see certain things not being able to be funded, but you can align. Yes, they don't fund that, but you can align yourself with an organization that's doing something that's in these categories that serves your purpose. Like for the two things you talked about earlier today with me, those 2 films, they could definitely be in community, or they could be put into these 2 categories here, at least, and this one. Actually, there's ways to word that so that this does not matter anymore.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So okay, so like yes it may have you like knocked out of the game right here, but that is never, let them tell you no. Never tell yourself no. I know that sounds horrible, but like yes, it says don't do that, but it also says that they're trying to do this and that your films are doing these things. So keep that in mind as you go on to applications. I don't like it. I don't like to tell myself no when it comes to applications. I will apply in a way I believe that will work, and it usually does work. You just have to be strategic about it.
Okay.
Everything is strategy. But yeah, okay. So this was just right in your backyard, right, Barbara? So like you're on your way to work, you see these 2 things. These both had foundations. You have Kroger, you have the bank, and you want your bank to volunteer. You want your bank employees to volunteer. Most banks, especially the large ones, are volunteers, have say in who gets money and funding and the grants. And so you definitely want to have them come volunteer, and that's pretty much it for a minute. Let that be. Let that relationship grow. Have somebody in your back pocket at the bank. That way, when it comes time for employee giving time at the end of the year and at the end of their fiscal year before January, right when they get their audits and all the other crazy stuff they have to go through in January's, we want them to, 1, Giving Tuesdays available for them to give. 2, they have invite only grants that we should be preparing for right now. September-ish, we should be preparing for Giving Tuesday and the bank grants coming up in February. So they aren't going to give anything during January. Pretty much banks are focused on just their audits and all the other stuff that they go through. February is when their portals open, and we want to be in tune and in line with our relationships for that moment. So start working on those relationships now for Giving Tuesday, and then really dig into volunteers for your organization from them around the end of the year of our calendar year, not the fiscal year. So the funding for the government ends in October. And these are all things that you just need to keep in mind. Knowing that these things are happening, it helps you plan out your year and who to apply for and when. You know certain things are coming. You want those relationships to be strong, and you don't want it to look like you just showed up for the relationship just because the grant's happening. So, and you don't want to do that. You want to actually build relationships with these organizations because they will be your best friends. They will provide sponsorship. They will provide grants. They will help you. I've had funders actually call and say, okay, hey, we received an application from one of your organizations that you normally work with, but like, we can't fund that. Can you just tell them to fix this, 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 this? And they told them literally what to put on the application and then funded it. So it's like, if you have, and that's because of a relationship, that is not because they're just super nice and they wanted to help us out. That's because of the relationships we've cultivated with other organizations. So please be aware of that. Ask how you can be of service to these bigger organizations. They don't get asked that. They just want people come from them, and they want stuff from them always. No one's ever said, hey, so you're doing a renovation on your thing. Do you need some help? Like, what can we do for you? How can I serve you? And like, especially when you're going to like Walmart's, Sam's Clubs, they cannot give to their own employees. They can't get as much as they want to. They want to have an employee giving program. They don't have one. They can't have one. It's against their policies and rules for some reason. And so if you're talking to them about, hey, so I want to, I want to give to low income communities, most of their employees and the people who shop there are in their low income communities. So they're looking at that as like, you're already serving our customer base, and you're going to end up trying to serve our employee base. And that's how you speak to funders that have certain rules, and how you can get around that is like, if you give us a grant, we will make sure that we include, a certain amount of employees in our pool of outreach, so it's like you kind of just have to work what they need into what you're doing. And it's very, I know that sounds like a big task or a big ask, but it's really not. It's very, 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 very easy, honestly. You just need to be able to know what they need. And so how do you know? You have to ask. You have to have those relationships. And that's why building relationships is the most important part of grants. It has nothing else other to do than just that. That is your main job as a nonprofit, is relationship building. Okay, does anybody else have an on your way to work? What business do you see? So I can look it up real fast. I just want to show you that literally everybody has grants available. There isn't a business that you pass by, unless it's a mom and pop shop, that doesn't have a grant available. They all do. Stop my share because before it won't let me search. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about what I just spoke on? Why is this stuff? Okay. Yay, nay. Oh, hi, Safe Haven. All right. So hi. Do you want to introduce yourself to the group? I can unmute you. Okay. Hi, Anthony. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Anthony Myers, co-founder of Safe Haven Kids League, California City. Safe Haven Kids League Community Resource in California.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah. That's what we said. Okay. Yeah, and he is actually he spoke for me at the last city council meeting to put me in position to help other people. What? I can barely see you. It's really dark. But yeah. So and then also, oh yeah, hey. Do the parade wave. But yeah, so it was very awesome. And then Zay, you want to come on in and introduce yourself as well? Sorry, I don't mean to put everybody on the spot, but I figured, hey, why not?
My camera was super up. Hi, everyone. My name's Isaiah. People call me Zay. I have a production company. We make films for at-risk youth. We deal with subjects like domestic violence, fentanyl use, all those crazy topics. Yeah, so that's myself. Nice to meet you guys.
And you are not a nonprofit as of yet, but so you're for have you ever gotten a grant before for your organization?
No.
Have you tried?
No, I'm just barely getting my feet in there.
This is a good partnership, possibly, maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying. Okay, yeah, so that's kind of what I want to make sure, like, when we're talking about relationship building and relationships in general, having the for-profits give us a leverage in general for other things, right? So, as I partner with myself a lot. I know that's probably sounds funny, but I partner with I Birth Mom Buddies looks to EC Solutions as a solution for the credit restoration, because that's the one thing I couldn't think of anything else I could do for my organization, for birth moms, other than, like, if I got 0 donations, not one volunteer, and it was just me, what could I provide them? And at the time, that for me, that was, at least I could help them with their credit and get them into maybe an apartment and get them back on their feet, because credit is life, really. Your credit is very important. So if they have good credit, they can move forward with doing any of the things that I just mentioned. So it's like, that was the one solution I came up with, that okay, so if I fix their credit, I can do this. So I started my for-profit and my nonprofit same day. I woke up October 31st, thought, you know what, I should start a nonprofit. And then the next day I did. I shouldn't have done it like that. Don't do it that way, please. Because my organization suffered because of my lack of planning, research, and everything else you should possibly do prior to jumping in like that. But it also built this, because I've had to just kind of figure things out. I had no clue about any of it. So I started my for-profit business, my nonprofit, same day, and I figured at least I'll fund myself. And it did not work that way, but it is now. But at first it did not, because I didn't know what I was doing. There's a lot of other, like, registrations you have to deal with, and I just thought it was simple and easy, and fill out a form and it's good to go. Those were the days. Anyways, so, but I am always my best partner, is what I'm trying to say. So when I go and I'm on applications and they're asking me, well, how are you going to provide these birth moms with credit restoration? Oh, I'm partnering with I don't say my for-profit, I say with a for-profit organization named EC Solutions. And this is how we're doing that. And 1, you gain more credibility on the grant application because you're in a group. 2, you now have somebody else they can hold responsible for your screw ups if you screw up. That gives them more comfort. It's scary for them to say, hey, this is all the grant funding we have, we're going to put it right in your hands, like, don't screw it up, and it, for as a funder, it makes them feel like, unless they're confident about what your capabilities are, and as a new nonprofit, no one's confident about your capabilities. They're looking at you like, why would we give our money to you? You're just a baby. That's why people wait till they're 2 years and have an audit, so that they can see what your practices are, you're making them feel more comfortable giving you the money. So it's like, if you're partnering already, even if you're a young nonprofit or a young for-profit, it gives you more credibility in the long run, and it gives you more strength on that application. But yeah, so there's so many reasons, like, that when they're giving out all their money, if they can't see in your past history that you've already had that kind of grant money or have been able to handle it, then why would they take that risk? They're not going to. You have to give them reasons to take that risk on your young organization, or on your organization that's smaller, on the small side, under $1 million in revenue. Not revenue, but donations and stuff. So, like, you want to make yourself feel or look as strong and as capable as possible. Hence building boards too. Be strategic when you make your board. Do not just have anybody on your board all willy-nilly. It will cause an issue later, I promise, because, again, I speak from experience, guys. I did all the bad things, and then I realized that they were bad, and that's kind of where they're all coming from. So please allow my screw ups to work for you. I've now learned to be strategic about my board, and I have people in place that I know, if somebody has already handled large projects, building infrastructure, going out and doing research and planning for, big buildings being built in small areas and that kind of thing, then I know that when I'm speaking to a funder, I can say, yeah, no, I am a young organization. However, the people on my board are very, very versed in this, or they're very, they have experience in this, and this, and I can name projects that they've actually run or funded or have worked in their own personal lives. And that way I can speak to the funder in a way that makes them feel more confident, comfortable, and a way for them to really hone in on that I'm not just randomly asking for money. I've actually thought about this, and this is something I'm planning on doing. And regardless if they give me the money or not, I'm planning on doing it, and it will get done. So if, as long as they see that kind of confidence in that you can depend on your people, or you can depend on the groups that you're with, they feel more confident. They're okay saying, okay, you know what, let's take this risk. Now, all 5 of them can't screw up, right? And that's kind of what we want. We want them to be like, no, but we come together to do this one thing. And it's even more beneficial if it's across the nation, because I'm kind of jumping around, sorry guys, but I'll finish the other thought first. So when the funders go back to their funders and they only get that so much money, and they're looking at just you, or they're looking at your board that's capable, or they're looking at your group that's capable, they're more likely to fund the group or the board, the person with the board that's capable. You know what I'm saying? So think of your applications when you're writing them. You want to write them from that viewpoint of, are we capable of doing what we're asking to do? If you're trying to build a building, you've never built a building before, why would I risk all of the funding that we have for this year on you and your outcomes? That sounds scary, and I would not do it. And especially if there's other choices that are capable, why would I choose you? That would actually make me not choose you. So keep that in mind as you're writing. And then oh man, now I forgot the other point I was trying to make. That's what happens when you go back. Whatever. If it comes through. Okay. If you're doing it across the nation with other national organizations, that makes you super desirable in general, because that's what they're looking to do. They want to tout that, hey, we helped multiple states do this and this, right? So during the Hawaii fires, right after that whole fiasco there, that there was a lot of grant money that was given out. There was a lot of federal grant money that was given out, and the 135 worked for that. They got us, I think it was 4 point something million. No, I think it was 2.3, whatever. They got funded there. The organization that applied for it was the one in they were based in Hawaii. However, they had volunteer groups coming in from all across the nation, and they applied as a group at using the 135 to receive that grant. So it's like it doesn't just work for foundations, but it does make you look stronger for every grant application, to have that group and community of people across the nation coming in to help, and coming out and bringing supplies and doing all these things and really helping the community. And now it's sustainable because they reapplied for more funding. It's been a year, I think, a year and a half or something like that. And they're reapplying now for more funding, requesting that they can add another 135 group to that original grant and get the secondary funding. And then they are also contracting within that grant group with their actual for-profit businesses. So do you see how that can grow? I don't know, I was about to say times 10, but that's not what it is. But you know what I'm saying? Do you see how that can grow exponentially? Like it can go super, it can just, it weaves itself this web. And you guys, if you move as a unit, it makes you so much stronger. People will start just being like, oh, if they're applying, we're not applying. And then that's great. That's getting competition out of the way. So truly it's a strategy that I've been using, and it's been working. And I mean, it may not work in 2 years, it may not work in 5 years, it may not work in 6 months. Right now it's working. I had yet to lose one until I screwed up the application on one, and then I screwed it up. But that was completely my fault. And I screwed up on I missed a couple questions, or actually I missed one question, and I didn't turn in some stuff on time. But that was just me. So don't do that. And also move as a unit, because it does make you stronger. And we were at 100%. So I don't know how we're gonna get back there, but we will. This next quarter we will. But yeah, I'm telling you, it works every single time. There's grants all around us. We just have to pay attention, and we will be able to then move to bigger and better things and help more of our people who are trying to help. We all have a reason we're here. We all have a reason for existence, right? There isn't anything that we should not be going after to help our missions, visions, and our organization. So please, if you see a grant that you don't think you're qualified for, or you think that says, hey, no, we don't fund these things, okay. But I'm sure that you know somebody or another organization that does one of the things that they do actually fund. And if that's a grant that you're desiring, go after it. Let them tell you no first off, and also put yourself in a position to not ever get told no. You are either going to be a sub-grantee or a partner on those grants. So just remember that, keep that in mind. There isn't really a wrong or right way, I guess, to do those types of things. It as long as you're using each other's for-profits and nonprofits businesses as like there is a way to speak to the funder, but also just partner and have those partnerships, because it just makes you stronger and makes you look better. But anyways, okay. Any questions about that technique? Because it is something that I will teach over and over and over again, but I know every time I teach it, people have questions, because if you don't have questions, we're not learning type stuff. And does anybody have any ideas of who they could partner with in their areas? And it better be me, Anthony, just saying. Just kidding.
I have a question. What
Yes.
exactly is the 135?
Oh, sorry, my bad. I totally I just quickly moved over that. The 135 is one mission, 3 actual activities that you do to focus that mission, and then the 5 partnerships. So you have your 135, the 1 mission, 3 programs, and 5 partners. And I know 5 is an odd, weird number. However, I've done this with 3, I've done this with 4, I've done this with 5, I've done this with 6, 7, and we've gone up to 10. It did not work consistently with any other number other than 5. And it's just after application after application, I've put in tons and millions, it feels like, of applications. And I'm telling you, the 5 works. I've had 3 was the next bigger contestant of where I should go with it. So it's either 3 or 5, but 5 was consistent across the board. I was at 100% until I screwed up the last one. So every single time I've used it. Does that help? I mean, does that explain, or did you need more?
No, yeah, totally got you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, so yeah. And so like, and you can be a for-profit in that group. You don't have to be a group of 5 nonprofits. You can be a nonprofit, a for-profit, just like I count myself as 2, FYI, because I have my for-profit I can use on all the grant applications. Like if I'm partnering with myself, I only need 3 more partners, and I'm a crazy person and have so many businesses, but like I have my own production company. I have my own, I have Fun Nation, which is this, and then I have the only nonprofit I have is Birth Mom Buddies. So it's kind of like I can pull on my own organizations and my own businesses to then partner. And I could do a whole grant with just on my own, but I don't want it to look like I'm just, I don't want them to do some little research and then realize it's all just me. And then, so I've never done that. I've always just partnered with other people, because it seems a little bit, it's a lot to ask. It's me, but in different personalities of me, like, I don't know. It seems weird. So I don't want to do that. But I do definitely use my own businesses in all of my grant applications, and I am partnering with myself on all of them. So that's a strategy. I also have the whole network base of Matthew Lesko's group and his people. So I reach out for partnerships in that nature. So I have production companies that we've partnered with before. I have especially people who are doing like what you're doing with helping young people in general navigate life and all the curveballs life does throw at them, addiction and violence and just all that stuff. It's really going through all of that kind of thing. It puts you in a mindset of then how do you then also live life, and that to me would be a way to speak to any mental health community across the nation. And that's where I would start with your outreach, because that's where you're going to find your partners, honestly, is that. And also Safe at Home, like the Safe at Home programs, partnering with a representative from the Safe at Home community. I don't know if you know what that is. It's the address confidentiality program. Birth Mom Buddies just got approved to do their intake. But if you're partnering with like somebody in your area that does that, that's a service you can offer as well. Same for you, Anthony, actually. But that's a service you can offer to people who are in domestic violence situations and they want to get out and they need someplace to actually go. That's not your problem, but your problem would be to then, okay, fine, they found that place to go. How do you keep them safe and how do you navigate that? So that's the Safe at Home program. It keeps your address completely confidential, even from police departments, so that it's not just leaked on your credit report. It's not leaked on your mail, and people who are like stalking you or have had violent relationships or or in danger, they especially or work in the reproductive field, you can go, it gives them a state PO box and the state will then send them their mail. So it has to just go an extra spot. But like it's very it's something that is you can offer and not a lot of people have heard of it. So it still seems like, oh wow, what a great program. People are still like, oh, that's great. It's been around for years. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that you as an organization that's doing, you're bringing light onto that subject in the first place. You could then offer a service like that and you could do that as a nonprofit or for profit. That's just an idea. But stuff like that, just thinking outside the box is the best way to do anything when it comes to getting grants. They want to see things they haven't seen before. Actually, that's not true. Sometimes they want to see things that they know work because they're scared of change. And those are going to be your old foundational people, and the people that don't have young blood in them. So know your board that you're speaking to, know who your funders are, do your research, look at their 990s, look at what they funded in the past. If it all seems the same, stick to the same. Don't be the one that wants to change it up, because guess what? You're going to lose that grant. Go with what they know. The people are familiar with that. If you are talking to, and you should never, ever, please, people, remember, do not apply to grants you have not spoken to the funder for. If you have not spoken to them on the phone, via email, or have some type of relationship, I don't even care if they told you to screw off, and don't apply. That at least is contact. You know, you don't want to have an application into an organization that you've never spoken to before. It's weird. I mean, would you give somebody money you've never talked to before? And I know that sounds really broad because, oh my gosh, there's all these people, millions of people apply to these for-profit grants that you see in the news. And those are not the grants that we want to apply for. Those are the grants that everybody else is applying for. Why would we do that to ourselves? I like to win. I don't want to apply for those. There are some that yes, are beneficial because of the recognition, but I can't speak to that funder, therefore I don't want to apply for it. So I know that's just my preference. You guys do what you want to do. The for-profit grants are very much so contests. I don't believe that anybody really reads the applications because even for when they're winning, and some of them are actually predatory, like the progressive grant that a couple of years ago, or maybe it was last year. It was bad, but you ended up in debt with a vehicle you didn't need and insurance policy that you have to pay for. And because the vehicle wasn't all the way paid off, you also had to pay for the vehicle. And so you had to get full coverage insurance from guess who? Progressive. So it was, read your guidelines, read what it gives you, read where the position it will put you in after you're done with the grant portion of it. Nobody won in that one except for Progressive. You know what I mean? If you go into that full knowing everything that's going to happen, then you're good with that. Go for it. It could be beneficial to your for-profit business. However, it's nothing I would want to jump into. So, but yeah, there's stuff like that. So just be aware of who you're applying to, what their record of funding is, and look on things like Reddit. Look at things like that. Look at people who have been funded from them in the past to see. Actually, there's let me see if my phone is. Actually, I don't have my phone. But there's actually a website that grades funders on how well they communicate, how well they give, how fast they receive their funding, and stuff like that. And it's funny because some of the ones you think would be the top notch are like got 1 star, and like the reviews are like, no, they never communicated with us. All of a sudden we just had money in our account one day. Like we didn't know where it came from because it was like a closed deposit or whatever. I was just like, oh my God, that sounds like a whole crap show. Hopefully they fix those issues though. And that's what that site's about, is trying to help corporate giving give better. So it's I don't know, there's a lot. I wish I could remember the website right now. I think it's corporate something, whatever. But yes, that is something. Why is it every single time I do this? But that is something that you just be aware of, is every funder is not going to fund the same. Every funder does not give out money the same. The timelines are always different. And that's why we apply to 3 or more grants every single week, because we cannot take the risk of not getting funded. And that's kind of, I want that to like really sink in. We are doing it in bulk and in quality applications. I believe I can write 3 quality applications a week for my organization. I can talk about my organization all day, all night, and give you reasons on why you should fund it. As a group though, it's harder to do that because you don't speak for other people. But the more you guys do that in a group, and one person's lead one month and the next person is lead that month, and you are all sub-grantees on that person's grant applications, that it starts moving in a rhythm where everybody's getting funded. So like, even if you didn't get funding yourself for your organization, you're still a sub-grantee on somebody else's that did. So no matter what, you don't have a dry month. And that's how we can get funded throughout the year. That's how we get processes in place to be able to like count on those relationships. And then you can also be in other groups. You don't have to stick with that 5. I personally stick with my 5 because my 5 has worked. But every time they've gone branched out, it's worked too. So, but I just, I'm a creature of habit, but so is everybody else, and that's what we want to count on. So, does anybody have any questions? Because we are about to wrap up here in about 15 minutes. So if we have any questions, comments, concerns, let's address them. If you guys have any problems with applications, let's address that. Miss Barbara has everything funded, so she's gravy right now.
I still need to be a gemologist. Rocks are my passion.
Wait, what?
Yes,
What about gemologists?
I used to love going to the rock shop. So because this is what I do. But that's like, okay,
Yeah.
so now I can start looking at my personal passions.
Yes.
So it's so it's like, okay, now that I just love crystals and stones and jewelry.
Oh, you're speaking my language right now. Look, I don't know if you guys can see this, but whoop, that's my mouse pad.
Oh wow. Okay.
I got that one in one of the conventions I went to again. Because I worked at the last convention that they had, not JCK, but Tucson. We were doing we're actually doing on the spot diamond training. I don't know why our school's doing that, but GIA was doing that for a minute, and it was not successful. But we were giving all these out. So I have tons of GIA. I have loops and everything. But if you need something, let me know. I'm a gemologist, right?
Yes, and not that I forget. It's like, sometimes you put your fun stuff to the side to make sure
Yeah.
that everything is on point. It's like, yeah, I really, really love that. So
I mean,
that's
I take
when
kids mining every year. Every year we go mining. The opal mines in Carlsbad, in San Diego area. And tourmaline, opal, everything is down there. It's super fun. It's the only reason I actually teach the Gemmy Kids program is so I can do that. It's free and yay. But you pay $50, you get a Home Depot bucket, you can go out there and you actually mine for your gems. You can take home everything you get. And it's like $50, you get the whole bucket. You can fill the whole Home Depot bucket up as many times as you want, as many times as you're willing to walk that walk and bring the bucket down and back up. It's freaking awesome. It's a lot of work, but it's really fun.
that's beautiful. I'm looking forward to that. So, like I said, everything is going well so far. I know to get the right perspective because the technique you're talking about really puts you as a line item on the various different grants. And that's genius. So my LinkedIn profile will be evolving now to reflect, I guess, credibility branding, because I do have credibility. So that if I start that process of premeditatedly
Yes.
putting an image available that's going to be positive, then I've got everything covered. So no matter which direction they check from, well, wow, she's got it going on. Yes, she's an expert in that. And then I can be a line item as a for-profit entity on another.
Exactly. And any no is never a no. Any no is okay, great. So that sucks that you can't fund us here, but you know what? We would love a sponsorship from you. Blah, blah, blah. Grants are just your foot in the door. Everybody needs to understand that if you lose a grant, it's not at the end of the world. And matter of fact, it's an opportunity to get more funding more consistently instead of having to win a grant every time. Sponsorships are where it's at in general for consistent funding across the board. That they every year you can count on it. It's coming. It's there. That you're going to have that. You have a relationship with these people. They will then provide volunteers. They provide really odd, random things here and there. But grants are just, if it's okay if you lose a grant, because that gives you a reason to speak to that funder. Grants get you in the door. Sponsorships keep you there. Volunteers keep you there. Things of that nature. So you want to build relationships. That is what all nonprofits should be worried about every single day, calling funders, talking to them. What can we do for you? How can we assist you in your mission, visions, whatever you're doing? And also, is there something that we can provide your organization to help you out? Because we don't always want to take, right? We're very much giving people in general. We're all here nonprofit wise. We're all trying to help a certain community. It is okay to ask funders, hey, is there anything you need? Like and we should be doing that I do it on a daily basis. You guys don't have to be like that. I'm a little bit weird about it. I call funders every day. Yes. I heard something. But yeah, I call funders literally every single day. So you have, I mean, so yeah, I'm a little bit weird about it, but I will go down my whole grant list and I will call. I start on the East Coast and call this way because I start early in the morning. So it is, you shouldn't always be in touch with your funders, is all I'm saying. So that's something that you should be doing. It's something that you should be offering up. Hey, you don't always need to be taking. You want their sponsorships. You want that relationship more than you want the grant. You want that relationship. And that's pretty much what I want to stress to you guys is once you have that, the game is yours to move. So, you know what I'm saying? It's very powerful.
Perfect. Genius.
Well, thanks. You know, I'd love to say I came up with this, but it was a group of us that just tried it and it worked. And then and then I went a little ham with trying it numerous times over and over and over again with different number of people. And I think I put in probably a good 1,000, 2,000 applications in a couple months, just because I was trying this. But it put us through last year. So you know, it works. It does work. So it's a way to do strategy. It's a way to move across the board, and it's a way to affect multiple states other than the one you're already serving. So branch out, be bigger. It's just like when, you know, wild animals come in to attack you looking bigger than you are. It makes you feel, you know, makes them go away. It's kind of the same thing. You want to look bigger and better than what you are at this moment, because you will grow into that, and that it gives you the money to actually grow into that. So yeah, I just want to encourage you guys all, please make sure you're applying to grants. If you do not have my grant list, I will give it to you all now, because I don't want anybody going, I can't find grants for this one. I have grants. I've showed you how to source grants. But if you need help, I reach out. I'm here all the time. Let me find, I have healthcare grants. And if you need a specific niche that you can't find a grant in, let me know so I can add it to the list. Sorry, go ahead. Say, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying thank you for that.
Oh yeah, no problem. Oh yeah, I don't have a lot of film grants on here, but I will put some on here for you. Actually, I have a whole list of them on the side because I put them in my community actually. Let me see if I can find that actually. Yeah, I do. Where? Where did my fund nation? Where did it go? Oh, there, right in front of me. This is the regular list. I have the pro list that goes month by month, but this is May. It's in the process of being updated at the moment. So I feel like I've been saying that for 2 weeks now, but it really is this time. It's in the chat. We're working on it right now. I'm trying to separate it, I guess, in the inside the list so that it goes by niche or state. I'm trying to find some type of way of organizing them better so they're easier to find and look at. And I'm just not, I haven't figured out a good way to do that yet, unfortunately. But so I have the pro list that allows you to look at them per month, but you can go across all the sections. So we have like, here, I'll share my screen real fast. All right, it's in the chat too. Okay, so this is May. So yeah, like this is the regular list I give out to everybody. I have a pro list as well. But yeah, down here you have business grants. These are all the for-profit grants. Those are all for-profit with a deadline. These are the rolling business grants that are for-profit. And they either are yearly, quarterly, or will come around again. I don't know, like sometime in the next year. Nonprofit grants are right here. These are like most of your foundational grants. They were separated by state, but that got confusing because then they were duplicated, certain times. So it's like, it's just, if it's something's national, it's national. So it's like, I'm not sure how I'm going to organize this yet, but I'm going to get a little bit better organized one. Or we're working on it. If you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them. This is nonprofit grants with deadlines. These are the rolling nonprofit grants that are all continuous or first come, first serve. And this grant list is extensive, guys. So be prepared in general for like goes on for a large amount of time. I also have, if you are a religious organization, we have church grants and like faith-based grants on a separate list. A lot of times you'll see that you do not qualify for grants, hence partnerships, and also don't be lead on that grant specifically. Also, I'm doing a class coming up in September with so that will show you exactly how to word certain things and how to get those certain things funded, how to get buildings and procure buildings for your organization, and how to use your for-profit business inside church funding organization or church organizations or religious-based organizations, as well as partnering with other faith-based organizations in your community and getting that federal funding. So we have all that we're going to go over in September. It was going to be in 2 weeks, but we had to change it because of some scheduling stuff. So, but yeah, anyways, this about the grant list, these are the dated ones, and it goes on for a very long time. We're at 258 right here. So I don't want you guys to tell me that you can't find them, okay? Because they're here. You just have to go through this list, and that's what sucks. We have at least 26 of the rolling nonprofit grants, and then government grants. This is being updated, and it will get bigger as the year goes on, because then the notice of funding opportunities will go out in mid-October. They will get posted in November and start getting your applications, and your SF 424 forms should be in by December, January, so latest February, depends on what you're applying for. But like, that's how federal stuff works. So please be aware of these deadlines. They will say your date of deadline is let's say March, but you need to have all these little forms and these little first steps in previous to March. So be aware that there are going to be multiple dates you'll need to have on your calendar. I will be giving everybody their grant calendar for the new fiscal year coming up soon, probably in either the next class or the class after that, so that you guys can start with your fiscal year being, start with Giving Tuesday and then move from there. That's kind of how my grant year works. So we're going to create a whole new year. And that's pretty much that. Does anybody have anything for me? I am available to answer questions, comments, concerns, partnerships, anything of that nature. And that's also what we're doing in the community as well. So if you find somebody on one of my courses, classes, or in the community that you want to partner with, that is the point of the community. Please join it and be vocal in there. We have a free community. We also have a paid community that we're going to get off the ground here pretty soon. And I believe actually we're ready now. We just need to start marketing it. So I want to make sure that people are actually doing what they say they're doing in those communities. So if we're not implementing, if we're not executing, if we're not actually doing anything, I don't want that in the community. And I will ask you to leave, just FYI. So, I don't care if it's paid or not. I don't want people stagnant. I want people moving forward and actually implementing what we're doing, or teaching about it, or helping in general, because I want it to be a community we can all count on for partners. And I don't want to partner with somebody who's not moving forward. So just saying, please implement what I teach. And I promise you, if you run into problems, call me, contact me, email me. I'm there in the groups. I'm there on Let's Go. I'm everywhere. Just please reach out. If you run into any problems, just reach out and I will assist as best as I can. And that's pretty much that. We will see you guys next week, same time, same bat channel. Is this time good for everybody? Because like we have a small group that we starting over with right now. Do we want to move the time? Because I'm not committed to this time at all. I mean, it was later. We moved it forward for the East Coast people that are no longer with us. And, well, I mean, yeah, they're no longer, they come and go, but they can come and go at a later time if we wanted to move it. Just saying. Does this work for everybody though?
It's good for
Sorry,
me.
Okay. And I know E and Sarah, you guys are both very East Coast, but I was pretty much, It's early. It's early in the day. It's still the work day right now, is all I'm saying. So, okay. All right. So then we're gonna leave it alone. And then, so yeah, same time, same bat channel. We'll be here, and please be, get in the communities and say, hey, introduce your guys' selves if you haven't already been in there. And please, 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 post what you're doing, post what grants you're working on. Don't think of us as competition. Think of us as, your partners in everything. Okay. All right. I will talk to you guys all very soon. And does everybody have the grant list before I close the chat?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
18. Okay, cool. All right.